Hey everyone, welcome back to Pawpaw's Workshop. Over the past few months, I've been using this FOXAlien dust collection system on not only the FOXAlien CNC machine, but some of the other CNC machines that I have around the shop. And I've had some very good success with this unit. And it's been on a cart that was just rolling around the shop. Well, it's time to give it a permanent home. I'm going to create just a little simple shelf that I'm going to put on the wall over the FOXAlien CNC machines that's going to give this unit a permanent home. Now, one of the problems you have with the dust collection systems is these type of containers, regardless of whether it's a small one such as this or if you've got a 5-gallon bucket type, these have a tendency just to want to fall over and just cause all kind of problems. Well, I'm going to solve that. The shelf that I'm going to build is going to have a hole that this will sit into, and that will create the stability that it needs so this will not tip over. And it'll still be easy to be able to lift up and out of the way to be able to dump it and put it back in place. So the first thing that I need to know is what is the diameter? And I want to know the diameter up to this point right here because this is a tapered bucket. The easiest way to do that is with a frame and square. Let me show you how I did it. The easiest way to do this is get a speed square and put that right along the edge of the workbench. Now you can slide the frame and square to any size that you want. So I'm going to put this right about here, and then we're going to take a bucket and put it right up against this area, and that's actually pretty close. So with this framing square against the table, I can check this. That looks real good. And then I can look at the measurement. The measurement is about 8 1/4 inches. So that's going to be the diameter of this container at the point where I need it. So there you go. Now you have a very simple way to be able to determine the diameter of this container. And I know it's about 8 1/4 inches. From a previous project that I just completed for my son, I just happen to have an 8-inch circle. Now I know the diameter of this is actually about 8 1/4, but if I cut on the outside the line, this will still sit right down inside of it. Plus I'm going to do a round over on the circle or the hole that I cut, so I think it's going to drop down there just perfect. I'm going to use a white pencil on this black MDF. This corner's already damaged, so I'm just going to literally take a paint can and create the radius. And we'll cut off that damage and we'll smooth over these edges. And that's something I'll be able to see with the jigsaw. And I'll do the same thing on the other side. So that'll take care of the corners. After careful consideration, the 8-inch circle that I have, I think is going to be of the perfect size. The bucket will drop down, and with that taper, it'll be a nice fit. I like that idea, so I'm going to keep the 8-inch circle and make the cut. Okay. I have the unit sitting on the shelf, and I think that's about the right location. So I need this to sit in here, and really all I need to do is really center it. And that's about 6. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I'm going to keep it right in this area. I think that actually would be good. A little bit more toward this end. And then that's 2 inches. That's 2 inches. That'll be good. So that's where I'm going to put it. And I'll just use this and draw my circle. That gives me my circle that I'll cut out. I'll do a round over with the router, and then the bucket should drop in real easy. Let's see if this works. This shelf doesn't need any fancy tools to be able to make. I just grab the jigsaw and I'm just going to cut off this edge and be able to have this round over. This will help prevent from anybody bumping into it or possibly getting hurt with that sharp edge. I like to have the shelf with the round over such as this. Once the edges are cut and the hole in the center is all cut out, of course I'll take this over to the oscillating sander and Just make everything nice and pretty and clean it up with the sander. As a reminder, the MDF, which is medium density fiberboard, creates an awful lot of sawdust. Please remember to wear your dust mask and your hearing protection to be able to protect your ears. To make it easier to be able to cut this circle out, I grabbed this little table by V-board that I've shown you before and clamped it down, and that made it a whole lot easier. In addition to that, went ahead and hooked up the dust collection to my jigsaw, and that'll greatly reduce the dust in the shop. The oscillating sander is going to make quick work of being able to clean up these edges and make them nice and smooth. And of course, same thing will take place on the inside of the circle. Over at the router table, I'm using a 1/2 inch round over bit just to ease the edge of the circle. And that will make it where you can take the bucket in and out much easier, and it's a little bit more pleasing to the eye. So how does the bucket fit into this hole? Actually, really good. That is perfect. That's going to give the stability that I need. The next step is I need to be able to create the support brackets. And to be able to do that, I'm just taking a scrap piece of old material I've had laying around the shop, and I'm just using a paint can to create an arc for each end. This is real simple, real easy to be able to do. Once I have the arc at each end, I need to have one in the center. I'm just going to use the bucket itself. So I can just place it anywhere along this area and create a third arc. Once I have the third arc, now it's real simple. Just take the straight edge and connect the different arcs together with a straight line. This is the simplest way that I know to be able to create the shelf support brackets. With this bracket now drawn, it's over to the bandsaw. At the bandsaw, I can cut this out, and then I'll just trace this one onto another board and cut out the second one. Then I just tape the two together, and it's back to the oscillating sander, where I'll sand the edges, smooth everything up, and make it look pretty. Again, the oscillating sander makes quick work of this, and it makes it look really nice in just a matter of a couple of minutes. Once again, at the router table, I'm going to use the same 1/2 inch round over bit and just smooth the edges over on this bracket. I hope you can see that these various steps to be able to make this shelf do not take a lot of time, and this shelf actually was put together very, very quickly. But it is a very valuable asset to have in the shop and a wonderful use of the space. The cabinet that I had here before was actually too high, and it did not have a good accessibility. This shelf is absolutely perfect. Now I had the power strip here, and I need to put the power strip back. Had to be moved to a different location because of the placement of the bracket. So this is going to be the level line where I'm going to place the power strip. I want to drill 2 pilot holes so I know exactly where the screws will go. I know they're 11 3/4 of an inch apart on this particular power strip. So by placing the 1 pilot hole, then I can precisely mark the second pilot hole and drill that one. That way, you really don't have a problem when it comes time to put that power strip back and try to find the holes on the back of the power strip. And now that the holes are drilled, I'm going to screw in the little small screw that's required to be able to hold the power strip in place. Okay, screws are installed. Now it's time to put the power strip back on, and it's just a matter of lining those 2 little screws with the 2 little holes, and it drops in place. Sometimes you need to move just a little bit left or right to get the perfect alignment, but once you do, it snaps in place as you see there, and then all that's left is to be able to plug in the power strip. Now we'll test everything out. We have lights on the bottom of this particular power strip. I can turn it on. I have lights to be able to shine onto the CNC machine, and of course I have plenty of outlets. All that's left to do now is to grab the HFS-800 and set it right up here on the shelf. Now I want to be able to put a hole to be able to run the cord down, and I had to put this on the shelf to be able to find out exactly where I wanted the hole. But in the end, I actually changed my mind. The easiest way to be able to do this is put the hole exactly in the center of the board. Using the speed square, I can mark and create the X that marks the spot. So I'm going to take a 1-inch paddle bit and drill the hole. Now this hole needs to be elongated, so I'm actually going to be drilling 2 holes. To prevent the tear out, I'm going to drill this hole halfway through, just until the tip of the bit sticks out the bottom, and then I'll flip it over and drill the rest of it. That way it'll give a nice clean hole on each side, and you won't have the tear out of this black melamine. You can see the little tip of that hole right there. I can put the bit in there and then finish drilling the hole through. After the first hole was drilled, I drilled the second hole the same way and then used the jigsaw and connected the 2 holes. That made a nice little elongated hole that the cord will fit into. Now, shelf goes back onto the wall, bucket drops into its hole, and that just, oh, I love how that fits. And then we'll grab the unit and we'll put that up here onto the shelf as well. Drop the cord down through the hole. I can plug it into the power strip, and then the rest of the excess wiring I can just put right behind the unit. I can zip tie that together so it'll be out of the way and I don't have to worry about looking at the unsightly cord just sitting there. Now it's time to test it. I can control the flow there with this knob and turn it on and off. I also can control it with the power strip by turning it on and off there. So this is going to be real easy to be able to control this unit. Next, let's add the hoses. I'm going to plug in the shorter of the 2 hoses into the dust cyclone over to the unit itself. And then I'll take the longer hose and I'll plug it into this inlet of the dust collection, and then that will go over to the CNC machine. The nice thing about this bucket arrangement, one, I can adjust this inlet nozzle to any position that I need it, and the bucket is not going to fall off. So you can see the dust collection will easily attach to this CNC machine, and the hose easily reaches over to the 8040, and now I have dust collection easily accessible to each of these CNC machines. So this is definitely a win-win situation. It gives a permanent home to the dust collection system, and this creates a perfect situation to be able to have all my FOXAlien materials right here in one location to service 2 machines with 1 dust collection system. Much improved use of the wall space. So thanks a lot for watching this video today. I hope this will give you some ideas on being able to take care of the dust collection on your CNC machines. Thanks for watching.